Another new and explosive report from Circa about your privacy rights. Sarah Carter and John Solomon just filed a new story with the headline, quote, declassified memos show FBI illegally shared spy data on Americans with private parties. Sarah Carter and John Solomon join us now with all the details. Sarah, good evening. I'll begin with you. If you can explain to the viewers how this process actually works with the FBI illegally sharing the information about Americans with third parties.
Yes, well, Kimberly, what we discovered through these documents, which were recently declassified by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, was stunning. What they said was that the FBI was illegally sharing warrantless spy data. That means they did not have a warrant and they were sharing it with third parties. And in one case, they shared it with a party. They didn't explain who that party was, but it was a forbidden party, a party that was not allowed to have this type of raw intelligence. Another thing that they stated was that not only did they do that, but they were intercepting communications, attorney-client privileged communications, without oversight. Wow. So very little oversight. This didn't happen once or twice. This was hundreds of times. And another thing that they mentioned was that there was very little oversight overall in what the FBI was accessing through the NSA database. And I think this is very concerning because this is the first time that we've actually heard that the FBI, not just the NSA, which John and I broke just several days ago, right. That the FBI itself was also dabbing into the database and moving raw intelligence around that actually affected our Fourth Amendment rights and our privacy rights as Americans.
It's really unbelievable. This is an explosive story. It's really a bombshell in terms of the flagrant violation of people's privacy rights. I mean, John, were you shocked really at just sort of the extent of this and the far reach?
I'd like to say it was, but I'm not. And the more that we dig into the spying that went on in the Obama administration and these expansion of powers, the more we see that the Fourth Amendment has been abused or certainly put at risk. And I think one of the things that you ask a lot of times, we hear a lot of talk in Washington about all these leaks. Where do they come from? Well, the more you pass this stuff down, it goes from the NSA to the FBI, then the FBI to private citizens. That's how you're going to get a trail of leaks. And I think that if they want to stop this, they've got to tighten it up.
What do they do, Sarah, though, to tighten it up? John brings up a great point because everybody at home's frustrated. Like, really, they get this in check. What is going on that people literally don't feel that there's going to be any repercussion, any kind of criminal or civil repercussion for what they're doing, violating the laws here and violating the privacy rights of American citizens?
Well, there's a couple of things that they can do, Kimberly. We know right now that they're going to launch a massive investigation into the leaks. It's going to be very interesting to see where these leaks came from. I believe that some of these leaks came from very high up because some of the information, for example, when you're dealing with Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, that would have been a very small number of people that would have had access to those tech cuts. Now, if they talked about it and put it in emails, then that leak expansion could be a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, but still, according to my sources, it's very narrow. Another thing that I believe can be done is that Congress right now is planning on investigating this. Remember, Section 702 is coming up for review. This FISA Section 702, which allows the NSA to basically collect information on non-U.S. citizens overseas, and those incidental intercepts are happening where they're collecting Americans' information as well, is coming for review at the end of the year. Darrell Issa, Trent Franks, others who've spoken to us say that they're going to look at this law, and some of them aren't even going to vote for it unless it's revised.
Well, it has to be. I mean, this is a real big problem, especially when you look back at the time frame and the chronology, John, in terms of how far back this goes and the pervasiveness of it.
It does. 2011, Barack Obama changed the rules, and ever since that time, we saw a tripling of the sort of spying on Americans going on, and now we see these leaks and violations. And I think an unusual coalition is going to come together. You're going to see the ACLU and conservatives agreeing on something for the first time and trying to fix this when this bill comes up for renewal this fall.
Okay, how quick do you think the turnaround on this in terms of being able to do something to stop the leaks?
Well, they have to put someone, they have to arrest someone, right? They have to find someone and make an example. That's the fastest way to stop a leaking problem. But you just look, every day there are 10, 20 leaks. Even the British are mad at us.
Well, the president's certainly vowing to do something about this, and I think he's going to get to the bottom of it. Sarah and John, thank you so much. Keep up with the great work at Circa.